Today's story is Harry and the Terrible Whatzit by Dick Gackenbach. He is both the author and the illustrator in this story. And this would be a good one to start off talking about some things like the word courage and what does courage mean, facing your fears and even though you're really scared of doing something, not letting it stop you. So even setting an anticipatory set about, we're going to talk about some things that might be scary. And I'm very scared of snakes, and I don't go anywhere that there's going to be a snake. And if I'm out walking and I see a snake in the grass, I go to the other side of the road because I don't want to be anywhere near that snake. So this would be a good time to pull the popsicle sticks out and ask them, what are they afraid of, and what do they do so that they don't have to go near that thing. So it could be spiders, it could be they're afraid of the dark, they might be afraid of heights or monsters or ghosts. So this would be a good time to give them some opportunity. And for the first day, have 2 or 3 share and then say, okay, I know that everybody's probably afraid of something. So, if you didn't get a chance to share today, tomorrow or the next day, maybe you can share. So you keep that in your head and you can share with us on another day. So today we're going to talk about Harry, and Harry's this kid down here, and he is afraid of something. He's afraid of a terrible Whatzit. So what do they think a Whatzit is? And so you can see there's monster. Is that one monster? Is it a two-headed monster? Well, we're going to have to find out in the story, but it's some kind of a monster, and Harry's really afraid of this monster. And it shows him here with a sword and a broom, and what do you think he's going to do with that sword and broom? You think he's going to try to fight the monster or sweep it under a rug or poke it with his sword? What do you think is going to happen? Why does he have that sword? And what do you think is going to happen by the end of the story? Do you think that Harry's going to be able to get over his fear of this terrible Whatzit, or what's going to happen? So have them start to predict. So you can talk about all those things before you even open up the cover. So and then of course we've got our cover with our author's name. We have our title page, which has this very same thing. We've got a dedication up here, so this is for Lila, Helen, Anna, and Arlene. And here is where our story starts. So I knew there was something terrible down in the cellar. I just knew because the cellar was dark and damp and it smelled. So you're going to want to talk about what a cellar is. That's probably not a term they're familiar with. So it's kind of like a basement, and it's not a basement that you just go out and hang out and watch TV in. It's an old-fashioned basement. It might even have like a dirt floor on it. It doesn't have, couches and TVs and stuff like that. It's like more like a dungeon. But people used to have them in their homes because it was cooler down there, and they could store vegetables and produce and stuff from their garden. So they would put it in the cellar, and it was kind of like a little cooler, and it would keep them good all throughout the winter. So Harry doesn't want to go down there. So it's dark down there. What's damp mean? It's like kind of wet feeling. What do you think it smelled like? If you think about sometimes if you've got potatoes or onions and they're sitting somewhere in your kitchen and you forget about them, they kind of start to stink after a while. So it might smell like that down there, or it might just smell like some wet dirt. So here's Harry's mom, and she says, don't go down there. Or actually, Harry tells his mom, don't go down there, I told my mother. Why? She asked. There is something terrible down there. I have to go down in the cellar, she said. We need a jar of pickles. So that now we know why the mom needs to go down there. She is storing her pickles down there because it's a cool, dry place for them to be. So she's going to go down there, but Harry's kind of scared. He doesn't want his mom to go down there. But does his mom look scared? She doesn't look scared. She's going to just go down there and get her pickles and come back upstairs. No big deal. She never believes me. I waited and waited and waited at the cellar door. She never came back up. So what do you think happened to his mom? She gonna stay down there forever? Did something bad happen? Is that terrible Whatzit down there? Did he eat her up? What's going on? She never came back up. Someone had to do something. So I took a broom and went down the cellar steps. It was very black and gloomy, and it smelled. So you can talk about what does it mean that it was gloomy. That was, it's not a very bright, friendly place to be. It's, it's probably has one little light bulb. Here you see a mouse trap and a spider. It's probably got bugs and critters running around down there. This is a furnace. So that might be kind of making some weird noises. But Harry was more concerned about the safety of his mom than he was his own safety, because he went down there. So that was very brave of him, and he was showing courage. So even though he was scared of the cellar, he still went down there. What do you think he's going to do with the broom? So, do you think he's going to try to whack somebody with it? Whack the Whatzit with it? I know there is something here, I called out. What did you do with my mother? Then I saw it. A double-headed, three-clawed, six-toed, long-horned Whatzit. It was hiding behind the furnace. So here's the monster he was afraid of. 2 heads. Here we have the 3 claws in each hand. 6 toes. Look at that long nail. That's nasty. Long horns. So that's the Whatzit. And it was behind the furnace. So Harry's in front of it, and it's behind it. Why do you think it's behind the furnace? Do you think it's afraid of Harry too? Or was it maybe trying to stay back there so it could jump out when Harry wasn't looking? Where's my mother? I asked it. The last time I saw your mother, the Whatzit said, she was over by the pickle jars, runt. What does that mean? He called Harry a runt. You guys know what a runt is? They might bring up that it's a type of candy, and yes, it is, but is it a big candy or a little candy? It's a little candy. So runt is something that's little. So was that something nice to say to Harry? No, you don't call somebody a runt. So do you think that the monster did something bad to Harry's mom? He's not saying he did. He's saying he saw her over by the pickle jar. I was sure the Whatzit was lying. What did you do with her? I shouted, and I gave it a swat with the broom. Wham! That made the Whatzit really mad, and it came after me. So here again, Harry is conquering his fears. He's afraid of the Whatzit. He was afraid of going down to the cellar, but he wants his mom back, and he is going to go after him until he finds out where his mom is. So we guess we found out what he was planning to do with that broom. I swung the broom again. Wham! The Whatzit didn't like that at all. It climbed up on the washer, and I hit it right where it sits down. What does that mean? He hit it right where it sits down. That would be in his behind. He sits on his behind. So he climbed up on the washer, and Harry whapped him in the behind with it, with the broom. And I noticed the Whatzit was getting smaller. And when I pulled its tail, it got even smaller. So why do you think that's happening? What's causing the Whatzit to shrink? And every time he hits it or does something mean to it, it gets even smaller. So give him a little bit of time to answer that. Now the Whatzit was down to my size. Okay, you better tell me what you did with my mother, I said, or else. Kid, you're crazy, the Whatzit answered. One of the heads made a face at me. You see his face, he's sticking out his tongue. So what do you think the or else is going to be? What else could Harry do to the Whatzit? He's already whacked him with a broom, and he's pulled his tail. What else might he do to him? Just for that, I twisted a nose. Well, I guess we found out our answer. He twisted his nose. And the Whatzit shrinks even more. Why are you getting so small? I asked. Because you aren't afraid of me anymore, the Whatzit said. That always happens just when I'm beginning to feel at home in a closet or a cellar. The Whatzit looked very sad. So why did the Whatzit start to get smaller? What happened with Harry? So Harry's fear shrank, and as Harry's fear was shrinking, so was the Whatzit. So he wasn't afraid of the Whatzit anymore. So now the Whatzit doesn't have much power. The Whatzit got smaller and smaller and smaller. And just when it was about the size of a peanut, I called out, "Try Sheldon Parker's cellar next door. He's afraid of everything." "Thanks," I heard it say. Then the Whatzit was gone. So what do you notice about this picture? So you're going to notice that Harry looks like he's huge, like he's a giant. Now, is Harry really a giant? Harry didn't grow. What happened? The Whatzit shrank so tiny that now Harry looks like he's the big monster. But he's just really his normal size. The Whatzit disappeared before it could tell me what it had done to my mother. I looked in the washer. She wasn't there. I looked behind some boxes. My mother was not there either. I looked inside the wood bin. No mother there. I was very worried. So where do you think the mom might be? What happened to her? He's looking in all the places in the cellar and he can't find her anywhere. Then I found her glasses beside the pickle jars. So here they've got their food all stored there on the shelf. And he found her glasses right next to the pickles. Remember, she went down there to get pickles. But what happened to the rest of her? This is quite the mystery. I was searching for more clues when I discovered the back cellar door was open. So maybe the mystery's about to get solved. So let them kind of, before you get to that part, throw some ideas out about what they think might have happened to the mom. And then when it gets to the cellar door, ask if they want to change their mind about what might have happened to the mom. So I looked outside, and there, in the bright sunlight, was my mother picking flowers. Boy, was I glad to see her. "I found your glasses in the cellar," I said. "Oh, thank you, Harry," she said. "But I thought you were afraid of the cellar." "Not anymore," I answered. "The terrible Whatzit is gone. I chased it away with the broom." "Well," she said, "I never saw Whatzit down there." She never believes me. So why did Harry think that his mom didn't believe him? And are there things that you tell your parents that they don't believe you? So can you kind of understand how Harry feels? So mom didn't see the Whatzit, so she doesn't think that it happened. But obviously Harry saw it. So, and maybe she didn't see it because she had glasses on. Or maybe she didn't see it because she's not afraid of it, so it was just that little. It only got bigger when people got afraid of it. I helped her carry the pickles into the kitchen, where she gave me some milk and cookies. "You know what, Harry?" my mother said. "I will never worry about a Whatzit as long as you are around." Maybe she did believe me. So why wouldn't she worry about the Whatzit? So Harry's shown her that he has the courage to face all of his fears. He went down in the cellar. He whapped the Whatzit with the broom. He made it small. He shrunk it because he's not afraid of it anymore. And so his mom knows that she doesn't have to worry because he has enough courage to keep the Whatzit away. Later, I heard an awful yell coming from the house next door. I'll bet Sheldon looked in the cellar. Arrgh! So you can even say, later I heard an awful yell coming from the house next door. Why do you think there was a yell coming from the house? Who was yelling? And see if they remember that Harry told the Whatzit to go over to Sheldon's house. And then I'll bet Sheldon looked in the cellar. What do you think Sheldon saw in the cellar? And what do you think is going to happen now that Sheldon saw the Whatzit? Do you think Harry's going to go over there and tell him how to, not be afraid of it and how to shrink it? Or is Sheldon going to have to figure all that out himself? Or what's going to happen? So then you can go back to talking about their fears that they told you about at the very beginning of the story, and then say, okay, so how do you think that you could make those fears shrink, just like Harry made his fear of the terrible Whatzit shrink, by having courage and facing it? So what might you be able to do? And so you can talk to them about that. So again, don't let everybody tell their story all on day one because you'll never get through anything, but just use those popsicle sticks and pick a few kids a day to share their stuff and have fun with it. So see you later. Bye.